Hey guys, good morning. Good morning from a pretty darn cold place. This is where I'm at. I'm about 120 miles from my delivery on Monday. I started to get snow yesterday, so I decided to stop. It doesn't matter if I take my reset now and drive the 120 miles Monday morning, or if I'd have kept going yesterday and do my reset closer to there. Um, I did not want to have to stop somewhere and just park on the side of the highway with the storm moving through, and then my luck, just have the truck quit running for whatever reason, and then I'm sitting out there in the middle of the nowhere with no way to keep warm. So I took the safe route, stopped at a Love's fueling station or truck stop, whatever you want to call it. So I have access to a shower. They have a Subway. I've got food and means to make my food, but the shower is definitely a plus. And if they had a lounge and it wasn't COVID, I'd consider going in there and checking out the Super Bowl. But I didn't plan on being home for the Super Bowl because my daughter's birthday's coming up, and the idea is to try and be home for that. And so, been a little busy to make these kind of videos. Um, the end of the year hit, had to get W-2s, 1099s, 940s, 941s. You get the idea. Had to get all that out. And so that kind of tied me up. Plus, there's been a few conversations and things happening with SmartHop, one of which was I got interviewed for FreightWaves. I don't know if you guys caught that video, but they named my company and myself in an article that was about SmartHop. I mean, the article wasn't about my little company, but they talked about us a little bit, and that was good. So I'm sitting here hanging out in the sleeper, and I figured I'd take a look, even though it's not 2 or 3 in the morning when the rates would be best. And I'm going to say this is being impacted substantially by weather. I am going to put a little disclaimer in there. I cannot see contracts. All of a sudden, there's none on my board. I don't know if they stopped doing them, or if because I never took any, they just quit offering them, or if they're just not offering new ones. I'm just not sure. And so, is that the reason why there's now 6,000 loads available? Is it the weather? All of a sudden, I can see a lot of 26-foot box truck loads, which I could not see before. And I don't know why I struggle to say that. Box truck loads. I end up saying box trucks loads. Anyway, so there's quite a few loads. I am going to start by saying the weather probably is impacting a lot. It being Super Bowl Sunday, there's probably quite a few people that are deciding I'm not going out. But let's kind of break them up a little bit. I got it set from anywhere to anywhere. And sorry guys, I didn't go through comments where people are asking for me to target specific markets. I'm just trying to give an overview. If you did ask for me to target a specific market, leave a comment on this video. I got kind of behind, and I'm not really sure whose request I looked at and whose I didn't. And it's not that you didn't matter. I just got a little busy with running the business. The YouTube thing is something I do kind of for fun. And I know to some people it's helpful and you really want the information. I look at this as a fun thing I do. So just trying to get some total numbers. So power only loads, there's 4429 available. That's a lot of loads. And again, I'm going to assume it's a combination of weather and maybe contracts are no longer being put together. I'm assuming they're not, just because I can't see them, but it could just be they're not letting me see them because I never took any and they just figured, let's just take you off that list because you obviously aren't interested. So let's look at box truck. And I'm just trying to get like a total number. Why does that only say one? Oh, because it says provided here. Maybe that's my mistake. Okay, so there's 1,200 box truck loads. I swear I'm going to get that right one of these times. So that's quite a few, and you know, obviously weather. You know, Pennsylvania to Staten Island at 348 a mile. That's pretty damn good money for 188 miles, especially in a box truck that, you know, let's face it, guys, if you go pick these things up like at a Ritchie Brothers, you can get those things for 10, 12,000 bucks and in really decent shape. And so there's some pretty good loads here. I'm not really going to dig too deep into each one. I'm going to look at the whole board, but right now I'm just trying to break down the different availability so everyone can see like gross numbers. So now we're going to look at trailer required, which is kind of how I run. Trailer required 1,500 loads. And so for me, last year when we were busiest with them, it was 1,100 to 1,300 loads for trailer required. And, you know, just looking at the very beginning here, the loads don't seem to be all that well paid, although there is a $700 load for 74 miles. But again, in Pennsylvania, the weather's probably really bad. And so we looked at power only, we looked at the box trucks. And so, all right, let's get back to all of them. And we're going to remove blocks because blocks interferes with some of the filters. So this is all of the loads. I'm going to assume 2,000 of them were blocks because I just removed them. If I put them back, and that number changes. Yep. So okay, so there's like 2,000 blocks. I guess we should look at just blocks because we didn't do that. And so, yeah, there's almost 2,000 of them. And, you know, there's what you would call a solo 2, a day and 13 hours for 1,800 bucks. So at least it's 900 bucks a day now, plus the accessorials. So, you know, now you're looking at 900 bucks a day plus accessorials. So let's just say, you know, in Ohio you might get some what's the word I'm looking for? Holy cow, guys. Tolls. Wow, I struggled to get that out. So you might get some tolls, plus you're going to get fuel surcharge. You know, that might put you really close to that 1,000 a day. So for a solo 2 at 1,000 a day, you know, might be worthwhile. And a lot of these are at that same price. And so maybe I'd consider that. I'd at least try one at this rate. At the rates they had them at before, I wouldn't have. You know, there's a 1 day for $766, and so let's just say they throw another $100 in for fuel surcharge. I'm not really familiar with Kenosha. Are there toll roads up there? I don't know. The 1 day might still be cheap. Solo 2 might be the better way to go. You know, but now here's a solo 2 in Tennessee for a lot less. Anyway, there's quite a few blocks, and so maybe what they did is they did away with the contracts. If any of you can see the relay board, check and see if contracts are still available. I'm thinking they did away with them, but it might just be that I'm not being allowed to view them because, let's face it, I never did them. So anyway, so I'm going to kind of approach this from the whole board standpoint, with the exception of blocks, because blocks don't allow the filters to work the way I like to show them to you guys. And so we're going to look at the highest rate per mile. And so there's $30 a mile for 8.3 miles. I think this is in South Carolina. Yep. And so there's 27 miles for 10 mile. I'm sorry, 27 a mile for 10 miles in Idaho. I imagine the weather's pretty bad. There's $23 a mile for 12 miles. You know, there's Pittsburgh at $19.11 a mile. You know, I mean, there's Arizona. I don't think they're getting snow. You know, $16 a mile, so you get a 16-mile little quick trip for power only, and it's almost $300. You know, and really, if you could do both of these, you know, again, I kind of don't like why or how they do that. Why do they schedule them both at the same time? If they were to put these a couple hours apart, you know, it'd make it more worthwhile to go round trip that first one. I'd round trip, you know, 35 miles for $300, and then come back and get the other one, round trip another 35 miles for another almost $300. So you do 120 miles for $600, but they put them in there together at the same time, so you can't book them both, and if you do, you're going to get penalized. Anyway, sorry, rant over. So there's another one in Illinois, $16 a mile, so 16 miles is $270. Irving, Texas, $15 a mile. Then you got Memphis to Byhalia. That's really close together. I've been to both locations. I haven't done that specific route from one to another, but I've been to MEM5 and MEM2, and both of them are better than going to MEM1, believe me. Anyway, so there's $12 a mile for 32 miles. I don't believe Charlotte has very bad weather today. Worst case scenario, they may have rain. There's a load to Staten Island. I'm going to say weather is a factor there. Buena Park, California to Redlands. That's a one-way, trailer provided. Not bad for $600, 2 hours work. And there's more than one. So there's Wilmer, Texas to Coppell, Texas. I've been to FTW2. The process there is much faster than FTW1. Plus, it's a drop and hook, so you should be able to pull right up to the front of the line. They'll tell you where to drop, and you get out. And there's another one. See, again, you know, spread these two loads out. Spread these two loads out. Give a person a chance to go drop one, come back for the other, and drop the other. Again, if it's 40 miles one way and 40 miles back, that's 80 miles. You do both of those loads, it's 160 miles. I'd do both those trips. Hell, I'd do the third one. Again, spread them out. I would do all three of these, and that would be a beautiful day. I think most of you guys would agree. You know, let me get in there at 11 to pick up the first one, and if it's really going to take me 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get back, so that's 4 hours. So let me have till 11 o'clock at night. That'll be a 12-hour run, and that'd be $1,200 for the 3 of these. And it'd be 160 miles or whatever it is. That's a thing of beauty. Very low fuel consumption. You probably spend more time checking in and checking out, but there's a full day, and you'd get a little over $1,200. I'd take that all day long. Anyway, so there's another $10 a mile, $10 a mile. Obviously, these loads are all today, and I think they're being left primarily because of the Super Bowl. I mean, hell, if some of these loads were close to where I'm at now, I would drop my trailer here at the truck stop, put a lock on it, and go move me a power-only load today. Oh, wait, I'm doing my reset. Never mind. But I've done that before, actually. When I see the power-only loads are too good to pass up, I've dropped my trailer and gone and moved them, because I'm waiting for a load on Monday or whatever. Anyway, so, I mean, you guys are able to see these. I'm scrolling up them slowly. So, they're still $10 a mile. There's Staten Island. I've not been there. I don't know how bad, New York really gets. Is it nasty? I imagine they got the roads clear at least, but I've never driven on the island. I don't know how tough that is with the 53-footer. I had a driver tell me if I took a load there, he would just quit and he wouldn't go. So I don't know if he's being a softie or if it's with good reason. Anyway, so I'm going to throw a little filter up, primarily based on, or because of the reason that this is how I run. I'm going to bump this up to $1,000, and bear with me because I can't tell it 1,000. I got to keep moving it and just guesstimate where 1,000 is. There we go. Oh man, I moved it once too many. $950 is close enough. So all that does is shed some of the lower paying ones. So again, there's a Staten Island, 117 miles. I think that was on the last one. There's 135 miles for $1,000. There's 233 miles for $1,200. 234 miles for $1,100. It seems like the majority of them are there on the East Coast. There's one in Massachusetts, $415 a mile for 239 miles. There's another one going to New York, $373 a mile. Obviously, I'm assuming that these are priced really well because a lot of people are parked as a combination of weather and the Super Bowl. There's 500 miles going to Connecticut. I think the storm's worse over there right now. Now, it will affect your score, but you know what I did when Hurricane Laura was coming in? I was in Memphis and I had just dropped the load and the storm was coming, and I was already thinking to myself, hey, I'm gonna park and wait this thing out, and I saw a $2,400 load going back to Dallas. I went and grabbed it knowing I could not make it. I got on the highway, and as soon as the wind started blowing a little bit, I jumped off, parked, called ROC and said, unsafe weather conditions, it's unsafe to continue. And he put a note and he says, yes sir, I agree, I appreciate you making the smart move. And then I brought up the whole performance thing and he said, nope, it won't affect you, this is beyond your control. And so the next morning when the weather cleared, I still had a $2,400 load on board. Anyway, so Yeah, that was my move. Anyway, a lot of Staten Island. There's one going to Indianapolis from Iowa. You know what? I just drove through Indianapolis yesterday. It wasn't bad. The weather wasn't. There was snow on the ground. It was cold, but it was not snowing or raining or anything like that. There's another one heading out there. Lexington, Kentucky. I was in Kentucky yesterday. That's where the load I have now came from. It wasn't bad. And I don't think they're getting much weather in Charlotte. But there's $3 a mile. There's a Teams load going from Charlotte to New York. That could be a little rough. But with Teams, that's a good paid load for Teams. I mean, they usually pay them less. So there's a load going to Jersey, $1,700 for 570 miles. Tucson to Aurora, almost $3 a mile. It's a Teams load. There's another load going from Charlotte up into Jersey, almost $3 a mile. And this is all stuff that needs to load today, guys. I mean, those of you that aren't football fans and are willing to work, there's work there. But like I say, most of it is in that weather region. Here we have 274 for 371 miles. There's a load out of Carlisle. It's a tour, as they call it, basically a round trip. 400 miles for $1,000, and according to them, you can do it in 10 hours, weather permitting, of course. Anyway, this isn't bad stuff. I mean, from a rate standpoint, I'm not familiar with the area. I'm not there, so I don't know how bad the weather is. My radar app makes it look like it's not good at all. There's a load from Lexington to Baltimore, $250 a mile for 600 miles. You know things are bad when there's a bunch of unlocked loads. I can't unlock them because I don't have a score. I haven't been pulling any loads for them. There's $2,000 for 800 miles. I'm not mad at that, only I don't understand how they expect you to do it in 19 hours. If you have to do a 10-hour reset, that means they expect you to travel 800 miles in 9 hours. This probably should be a Teams load. There's Moreno Valley up to Spokane, Washington, 1,200 miles for $3,000. You know, it's not bad money, but I believe they're getting weather up there too. There's Lexington to Baltimore again. That one's a little cheaper, but of course that's a Monday load. And so let's stop there, because now we're talking Monday. I did notice, well, apparently I still had a filter on. My apologies. And so let's look at the box trucks, because I do get a lot of questions about box trucks. Let's look at box trucks alone, and this says none. I have a filter on somewhere then, provided. And that says 2. Maybe I need to turn the block back on. No. What am I doing wrong here, guys? Destination anywhere. Load type, trailer status, driver type. Oh, the amount. Huh. That'll do it. Their loads are usually shorter and a little bit cheaper. But this is for the box truck guys. So, $5.22 a mile for 45 miles in the Jersey area. You know, and I suppose if you had to drive in that bad weather, I might rather drive a box truck than a semi-truck. I think a semi-truck, you're more likely to jackknife, and a box truck, I think you're more likely to slide into something if you hit ice, but you're less likely to total your truck because the tractor didn't come around and get pinched by the trailer. You know, still dangerous in either way, but I think you'd be better off in a 26-foot box truck. Plus, the longer wheelbase helps you out. So there's Lancaster, New York to Springfield, $4.73 a mile. And these are Monday loads already. These aren't even for today. You guys get to stay at home and watch the football game. There's Jersey to Staten Island for $2.88. New York to New York, 57 miles for $2.35. There's another Jersey to Jersey, $2.35. $77 miles for almost $300. That's not bad. I've never heard of Sound Beach, but apparently it's 82 miles from Staten Island. And then this is a short tour. This one has multiple stops. I've not seen a box truck set up this way. So they arranged like a tour for this box truck. Let's look at it this way. They do kind of run you around a little bit. Depending on the weather, it could be tough, but did that again. See if I can set you guys back up again real quick. There's quite a few box trucks. I couldn't see them before. I'm not sure if I had a filter wrong, but the last few videos I did, I didn't see a whole lot of box truck. And so this is kind of a good thing. For you box truck guys anyways. And so there's $500 for 217 miles. Here's one in California, but it's a one-way from Fresno to Thousand Oaks, which kind of means it leaves you on your own to drive back 232 miles. I don't know how hard or easy it is to find loads for box trucks that way. I guess you look for partials. I have hauled loads where it's just 3 pallets and they still pay really well. But that could be a little bit tough. There's a load from Aurora to Lansing. I'm going to say it's Lansing. $2.21 a mile. So for 248 miles, you get $5.47. That's not too bad. There's a PA to PA load for 178 miles for $4.69. That's not too bad. Yeah, these rates are better than what I've been seeing for box trucks. Box trucks seems to always be cheaper, but this looks all right. So there's some Ohio work. I know it's snowing in Ohio because a friend just told me last night it was. 134 miles for $319. There's Carlisle to Jersey, $224 a mile. These aren't too bad a rate. I think the bigger issue is finding backhauls for these things. I don't know how easy or hard that is. So there's a Bakersfield to Simi Valley. Basically, that'd be a way for me to get home, personally. $300 to basically climb the Grapevine isn't too bad. But of course, you had to have been in Bakersfield to begin with. There's a Bakersfield going to Stockton, just under $2 a mile. There's a Vegas to Chino for $440. You know, and that's not a bad deal, because you'll definitely find freight going back to Vegas. It might be heavier than you like, but Vegas is a consumer of products. They don't make a whole lot, but they definitely have inbound freight. Most of the time you find good paying loads going to Vegas, but they're not great coming out. There's Vacaville to Reno. If the weather's bad, you're going to need chains to go over the pass. There's Indianapolis to Gary, Indiana, just under $2 a mile. There's a Fresno to Chino, $477, just under $2 a mile. There's not bad loads here. I mean, some of these loads are paid better than what the power-only guys are getting. Yeah, there's quite a bit for Monday. I don't see anything for Saturday, which I guess is kind of common because you're going to post office, or the Sunday loads have already been booked, obviously. Anyways, that's a quick skip around the Amazon load board today, guys. Enjoy your Sunday. If you're watching the game, may the best team win. And as always, thanks for watching.